On this episode of Season 4, Let's Talk.
You fail and you fail and you fail, but you believe that every opportunity that you miss, there will always be something new. Maybe it's not for you, you know? Maybe the thing that your break, the break that you need um, will come later on.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Rajiv Show, and I'm your host Rajiv Doreswamy. And this show aims to help reach out to those who are currently struggling in life and to remind you that life is indeed beautiful when you're inspired to make it your own. All right, folks, welcome to this episode. This episode is special because I am fanning out right now, and my interviewee right now is a legend, a comic book artist legend, uh, Patty Arroyo. Patty, welcome to the show, first of all.
Hello. Yes, thank you for having me on your show.
And let's get into storytelling, as we always do here in the Rajiv Show. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm right now I'm a freelance illustrator. I'm just home based and I do comic book related illustrations, comic book related art, and other illustrations. I also do commissions, and before I do comic conventions, like sell my art and stuff like that. Do commissions. Yeah,
Awesome.
so far it's for my career. Yeah.
Awesome. And my first question is who are you in high school? If you and I were classmates, are you the person who is into books, or are you out in the field, um, walking, running 200 miles, or normally in library? Like, who are you? If you and I were classmates in high school.
Okay. Yeah, me in high school, being an introvert, I'm actually like an ambivert, something like that. So I have a few friends. I don't join the those groups of girls.
Mm,
I'm not part of any uh, big group. I just have a friend or two, and then I was the top of the class, kind of. I a student at top of the class, and then also in high school I was into music, more into music than in art.
interesting.
So I'm like that, like, hey, she's cool because she's a guitarist and a vocalist, something like that. That was in high school, and also the smart one, but also the a bit antisocial.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, it was entirely not entirely. I'm a different person before than I was now. So yeah, all of us grow up. So I was
That's true.
this person in high school.
The second question is who's your greatest motivator and why?
Greatest motivator. Who, like, right now, the one who encourages me like every day to push hard is, of course, my uh, boyfriend, my special someone. um, yeah, like, there's a lot of things that motivate me. There's a lot of people who motivate me. It includes, my fans who always follow my work. They appreciate my work. They compliment it. um, they also, like, commission me. So that is also um, a thing that motivates me. But, like, if we're talking about like a person right now,
Mm,
so that would be my partner motivator.
awesome.
Yes.
And my third question is what made you who you are?
If I'm gonna start from the start, maybe it's Like my dad, my late dad, like he was an artist as well, and he wanted to be an animator, so I tried to become an animator. I pursued animation, and but like since when I was a kid, I, I was always an artist. I was always a creative person. I was always into uh, art, music, um, sports, and all of that. I got that from my dad. So, like, I think he is a big part of what made me who I am now. And it's also, yeah, he is also my one of my greatest motivations and inspirations.
Interesting.
So yeah, like that made me who I am. And then I just, from there, I just made my own path. But it's still, it's still in line with everything. Still in the creative industry, in the creative world. So I did not really get far from that.
And my next question is, if today was yesterday, what would you keep and what would you let go of?
If today was yesterday, um, I think like, what do I keep? Okay, so I keep my motivation because I since ever since I've always wanted to pursue a career in arts. Well, on the side, I had also dreamed of a career in music, but more on the art side. So that is what I will keep because that is what helped me throughout the years, like keeping that dream, even though you don't really know if you're gonna achieve it. It's just there, it's just a goal that you don't forget. And what will I let go of? I think it's my I think it's my antisocial thing.
Hmm, interesting.
It's like if I had something to tell my younger self, it's like you have to enjoy being young. Don't rush too much in growing up, or becoming an adult or something, like you are too serious. Why not enjoy a little bit of life? Enjoy your friends, go out, go travel, go party with your friends. Because that is a thing that I didn't really do when I was a teenager or in my early 20s. I was so, um, like, what's this, like I was so serious in like building my career.
It's
I
funny.
was too much focused on that.
It's funny. You and I have parallel paths in life, and it's ironic. I'm a mega fan of you, and it's like a reflection now. Looking at me, it's like a reflection.
Yes, because but I'm glad that I'm able to do all of the things that I missed from when I was younger now. It's because it's different, like
Hmm.
you have a job, like you can afford travel, you can afford this, so you can do things that you weren't able to do when you were younger because you had limited resources. So yeah, maybe that, like, more just make more friends and enjoy being young because it just goes away quickly. So
I'm
yeah.
gonna modify this last question,
Okay.
because I know you are an artist, and you and I actually are the same. We're both artists in both regards of music and art. It's a modification of my regular question, which is, what are your thoughts for the future? Um, in terms of art, in the world of art, in the comic world, what are your thoughts in the upcoming future now? Post, let's say post quarantine. What are your words for encouragements for comic book artists
For
or
art,
hopefuls? Yeah.
I would say, like, based on what I'm experiencing right now, there will always be days where you have nothing and you get frustrated because you can't get work, you can't get any income. There will be times like that, and it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or not, because it's always like this if you are an artist. If you are an artist, so just keep on going. I think like keep on making art and upgrading your skills. uh, be better, because I don't know, some artists are really aggressive
Mm.
in their goals. I'm the less aggressive one. I don't know, sometimes I am passive. I am really really um, sometimes I am not confident with what I do, even though a lot of people believe in me. Sometimes sometimes you don't believe in yourself. That's why it really affects your progress, like how fast you can get to your dreams. So we cannot really, I don't want to blame anything or anyone but myself for that, for not being aggressive. But I'm taking things slow. So maybe it's the same for other artists. Some artists, like, they take it like aggressively, and some artists, they just take it slow, because it also affects your you have to take care of your mental health and all of that. Because artists are also sensitive people. We are very emotional, so that's why we can't really handle too much work, like some of us. Like, we get too stressed with all of the responsibilities and all. And you can't entirely rush what you're doing, like a rush art. So yeah, I think just keep on going. Like, it depends on your needs. Like, other people, they really need to, like, be more aggressive because they have more needs. So me, I have needs as well, but I'm taking it slow. But so far, I'm I'm good. I have work, so I'm really thankful, and I hope that there will be more work after the pandemic. So after the pandemic, of course, there will be uh, conventions again. Hopefully, when everything goes back to normal. So it means that if there will be conventions again, there will be more opportunities for artists again, because a lot of artists, they just depend on the conventions, like especially indie comic artists, because that is where they sell their comics. So yeah, yeah, everyone is affected. Everyone is affected because of this pandemic, even the income and all. So that's a very very vast, you know discussion. So yeah, I'll just stop there, or I'll talk too much.
Now we are in the motivation and philosophy segment. Since you mentioned
Okay.
earlier that you in high school you're a musician, you were into music and you used to play guitar, and also you're an artist from the previous conversation.
Yes.
Is there a particular artist or a particular musician that you say that you like his quotation and you add that in your philosophy as you move on with life? Like, is there a particular musician or an artist, for in general, artist that doesn't mean doesn't have to be comic book
General art.
related, or artists like Picasso, or you know the legends like
Mhm.
Leonardo? Do you have a particular quotes from any of them?
No particular quotes, actually, or there must be, but I don't really remember, because I don't memorize the quotations. It's just that maybe I am inspired by their lives. Okay, in general, like by the how my favorite artist, how they achieved what they have achieved now, like how did they get there. I always wonder about that, and I keep pushing because I just, I just believe that be a time, there's a time for everything, something like that. So I just go in my own pace. But these favorite artists of mine, they inspire me because of their achievements. So I don't really remember any particular quotation from any of this. Just maybe like a little bit of their life. Like, there are some artists that achieve their success in an old age, you know, something like that. So it means that there is always hope, and there is always an opportunity as long as you believe that there is. I may not, sometimes I may not believe in my skills or what my capabilities, but I always believe that there is always something out there that will need me, that will need my expertise. So I don't really, like, it's a change of mindset. You fail and you fail and you fail, but you believe that every opportunity that you miss, there will always be something new. Maybe it's not for you, you know maybe, the thing that, your break, the break that you need, um, will come later on in life. You don't know that. So you just need to keep believing, like these people did. It's just that we have different paces and different times, something like that.
Since you
It's too
mentioned,
deep. Oh my goodness.
I know, it's very powerful though, very powerful stuff. Since you mentioned,
Yes.
one curious question: who is your favorite
Hmm.
artist? Are they from this? Are they from this generation, or are they from the Renaissance generation, or what generation? And who are these
I
artists?
have
I'm
a,
really curious.
I have a lot. I have a lot
Top five,
of
top five, at the most.
top five. Well, maybe I'm gonna start with my first favorite artist in comics, who inspired me, like to like inspire me to draw comic style. Okay, so that is J. Scott Campbell of Marvel. He's a Marvel artist, but he works sometimes with other publishers. So, like, he is a very popular comic book artist. So also he's the you know he's my initial favorite artist, that started everything. Like my
Mm,
motivation as well.
mm.
And then I'm also inspired by, what's this? Uh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a classic pinup artist, like in the 50s, I think, something like that. Like, I think its name is Elfgren,
Sounds
the
French.
surname. I don't know, Elfgren, because it's spelled like that, but I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. So, that 50s pinup girls, something like that.
Oh, that's
Are you
interesting.
familiar with that? That pop art, not entirely pop art. It was the pinup girls, in the war
Ooh,
era, I think,
okay,
something like that.
okay.
Those Coca-Cola
More realistic.
cards or posters, something like that. Yeah,
More realism.
realistic stuff.
Realism. Interesting.
Yeah, realistic stuff. And yeah, actually, there is a lot of artists. Like, throughout the years, I have a set of favorite artists, and then I find another. So there is like a
We got
wide
three more on the
influence.
numbers, just so you know. We got three more.
I'll just say, so right now, another favorite artist, like a newer one,
Ooh,
is Jorge Jimenez. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a DC comics artist. He's working on Batman, and he also worked in Justice League. So Jorge Jiménez. I think he's Spanish. I think,
Interesting.
yeah, I know he's Spanish, and really really good. Also, like one of my influences in art. What else? There's a lot.
We got two more.
Mostly,
Two more on the list.
let's get out of comics for a bit.
Sure, sure.
Maybe let's go to animation. Animators also inspire me, inspire my art. Let's say Glen Keane. He's a Disney animator and character designer. I think he's the one who pioneered that, that Disney look
Mm.
to the characters, with the big eyes and all that aesthetic. So you have Glen Keane, and I have another favorite animator, which is Ryan Woodward. I don't know, not everyone knows him, but I really like his work and his style. Another artist, the last one, I cannot because there are a lot. Okay, how about a classical artist? Uh, if I'm gonna think of paintings and all, I like Monet.
I was surprised you
Monet
didn't have Jim
paintings.
Lee on the list.
Well, I am more on. I told you I have a lot of comic artist uh,
Uh,
favorites, like more than five. So,
wow.
if we're gonna go through the list, that would be pretty long. I forgot to mention I like Adam Hughes as well. He's
Okay.
also like maybe let's say in general I like the when the artist has good figures, because that's what I'm focused
Mm.
on. I'm focused on figure drawing and anatomy, and like if they draw good female form,
Oh.
because that is my forte. So that
uh,
is what my eyes are focused on, and that what catches my attention.
uh,
So artists that have good figures, so pin-up artists,
wow.
they have a
Interesting.
good figure, yeah, something like that. So yeah, so I think the fifth one would be like, let's go to the classical art. Monet, I like Monet paintings.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Monet? um uh, Van Gogh, I don't
Ah,
know. van
Vincent van Gogh.
Van Gogh, yeah, because my boyfriend is French, so he's told me that it's not pronounced that way.
Van Gogh.
It's not pronounced as Van Gogh. It's not pronounced. It's like Van Gogh, something like
The
that.
one who did the
So
Starry Night painting.
yes, the one that did the Starry Night painting. Yes.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, but
Uh,
like just those two.
uh awesome.
Yeah.
Um, before we get into one of my favorite segment, which is the art segment, where both of us are gonna go crazy, we're just gonna come back after this few short messages. Calling in collectors from around the Philippines. Are you looking for a valuable history lesson about Baguio City? Or you just want to collect stuff that brings you back in time? Check out Hobby Depot Baguio, which is located at Kuwis number 8 Prudential Life Building below Jollibee, Assumption Road, Baguio City. You can also find them on Facebook at Hobby Depot Baguio. Hobby Depot Baguio, the one-stop shop for everything hobby related. Welcome back, folks. My
Yes.
guest today is Patty Arroyo, which is an artist
Mm-hmm.
based on Manila. And we are going to get into the art segment. This is where we go crazy, basically. Um, as mentioned earlier, you said that when you pick when you dissect styles, you go straight for the form. How do you what does your eye see first when it comes to sing, when it comes to characters and sing? Does it dissect and deconstruct the posture or the form or the composition? Where does your eye go first?
Where the first one that catches my attention is, of course, the gesture and the appeal of the character. The gesture. It means like the flow of the movement, And then next is the anatomy. So I am mostly like focused on figure, like how good the figure is, instead of, like details are good and all, like details really catches everyone's attention, okay, but like for me, I go my eyes go is focused first on the character, the forms and all, and then from there you see everything. So it really matters to me as an
Wow.
artist, like the figures, they really matter, because it doesn't matter to me how much detail you put in a drawing and everything, and like how good you render it, how good you color it.
Mm,
But if the figure itself is not uh what's this is not appealing,
mm,
or like it's not like there's something wrong with the gesture and the pose and the anatomy, like it drags you. I don't know. For me, as an artist who looks at the artwork, I mean, for non-creatives that look at this artwork, of course, it's gonna be beautiful or
yeah.
something. But on my perspective, that's what I look for. So, like most of my favorite artists are good at drawing figures.
Like, one follow-up question to that is like, what is the worst type of art that you? I mean, I'm sure there is no such thing as worst type of art in terms of artist, but like if you were to categorize, as you mentioned, you see the gesture, the anatomy, and the form. What is the worst version of twisting the body in such a way, to a person? What is the worst art style by an artist that you've actually seen?
Mm, I could say, I'm not gonna say like there is a worst style, because style is just style.
Mm,
It's it changes the appeal, the style, but everything, okay, regardless of style, there is always you would know who has a background in anatomy, like who has knowledge of the drawing foundations, and the ones that who don't. It's
mm.
just that I'm not gonna say there is something worse, but there are some bad drawings
Like from
because of this,
art.
because it lacking the drawing principles and the anatomy and the lines. The gesture is very important. Gestures are really really important when you're just like when you're starting everything, the layout, the composition and all. It is very important. So thinking that is a I think that is a big factor in what makes a drawing good,
Mm,
like the gestures. That's why if you notice, if you've seen, like a frame made by an animator,
mm,
even if it's a rough drawing, why does it look nice? Why does it look really nice? Why is it too appealing even if it's just a rough sketch? It's because they have nice gestures. And it is unfinished. It is just a quick sketch. They didn't even render it, they didn't even color it, but it already looks nice. It's because that you can see that they have a nice gesture on it, and they also have the knowledge, enough knowledge for it. So yeah, I think that I'm not gonna say there is a worst, just beginner,
yeah.
just beginner. So yeah.
Since you said the word beginner, I was actually going to get into the beginner question. Is like, if
Mm-hmm.
a person who's tuning into to this part of the episode, what is the best book or PDF that you would suggest they would like go through, or do you have like a series of books like for basic
Books. Okay.
gestures, beginning gestures,
Mm-hmm.
skeleton, and I'm sure forms and composition?
Okay. Books. Personally, me, I'm a different kind of learner. I am a visual learner, so I don't really read. I don't really read like or read tutorials or read books or even watch tutorials.
Oh,
I'm not this kind of person. I'm as an artist I learn by just
wow.
looking at, you know, like you look at artwork every day, you look at your favorite artist, you study it, you observe their forms and everything. That's why I said, like, I mentioned you have to have the drawing principles, you have to have all these uh, foundation first, because style, you can do whatever style. If you already have all of these, you can always copy the style of your favorite artist. It's like that. So style doesn't matter anymore as long as you know the foundations. So, you know, being like this kind of learner,
Mm,
I don't have, I don't know which books or which references. I just use, you know, I just use whatever I can find on the internet. I use Pinterest for referencing, for looking for uh, different artists. It's mostly like different artists. I don't follow just one, you know,
mm,
because these books are also made by artists, you know, who have studied anatomy and figure drawing. So uh, I just use any resources that I could find that is helpful for me. But maybe the right question would be, um, like, what do you need as a beginner,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like what skills do you have to learn as a beginner, so you would know like which resources to look for. So I guess that I'm gonna answer that question as well.
Sure, sure, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I ask myself a question and I'm answering. So yeah, I think the drawing principles, you start with the basic, which is gesture drawing. If you're gonna learn how to draw people and moving stuff, you know, living things, animals, human figures, and all. Everything starts with a gesture. That's why you have to learn gesture drawing. It's drawing really quickly. And next, you have drawing from life or life drawing. You know those you know, there's a live model, something like that.
Mm,
You know, this setup. So this is really important. It's very helpful that you learn to draw from life, because it's also gesture. Because you always start with gesture. You get the gesture before you put details. Because I've noticed, like, for beginners, they always want to jump into details
that's true.
before, you know, before constructing your drawing. So everything starts with a skeleton. Even buildings start with a skeleton. So you have to start with the base of the drawing, which will you will need to apply all of these knowledge. You know, like gesture, uh, action, uh, lines, poses, anatomy, and all before you put all the details and before you color. And coloring is a different thing. So that is a different learning. So it I will highly recommend that if you want to draw figures, you want to draw people, you start with these basic things like gesture and drawing principles and lines, like make it practicing your you know, your lines with the pencil strokes, the brush strokes, and all, like drawing with your hand freely, you know, like not in a stiff way. So those things matter. I don't know, maybe the artist will get it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that don't rush it. That's all, because you can't really be good in one day or just a one course or just in, I don't know, in a year. That is not enough to be good, unless maybe if you have a photographic memory or you're a genius, maybe.
Yeah.
No, but in a normal for a regular person who is learning, like it will really take time. So I would highly recommend that you start with the basics first before you want to learn about coloring or digital painting and all. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you can't use a computer. Of course you can use a computer. You can draw anywhere. It's just a tool. I'm just
Mm.
saying it's the drawing foundations that you have to learn. Doesn't matter which tool you use. I don't, it doesn't matter even if you use chalk or what, with a stone or something. So what's important is the knowledge and the applied knowledge before you jump into anything. So yeah, I guess
And
that explains it a bit briefly. Was it brief?
it was philosophical as well.
Really?
Yeah. We're gonna transition now into my favorite part of the interview, which is what inspires you.
What inspires me is the hardships that I've gone through in life that kept pushing me forward. It's the failures I had in the past. Um, I'm also inspired by the beauty of nature. I really like nature. That's why I like hiking and all that, because there's always something to discover. There's always something new to discover in this world, and we're just a small part of it. So I think it's also a motivation that like there is more to learn about this world. There is a there's a journey that we have to take, you know and I'm also inspired by history, by world history, everything that happened in the past. Anything, like, because when you see those things now, it's like it's amazing, because these events, it happened before there were people involved in it. When you look at vintage stuff, something like that. So really, all of these inspires me. Music, beautiful things. So yeah, I think that is the what generally inspires me.
Awesome. If my listeners want to connect with you via social media, how do they get in touch with you? Is there any platform that they need to get in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at underscore Patty Arroyo Art. So just remember Patty Arroyo Art, because it's also what I use in Facebook. I have a Facebook page of the same name, Patty Arroyo Art. And you can also use the hashtag Patty Arroyo Art if you want to look for my artwork in the internet. So, yes, underscore Patty Arroyo Art on Instagram.
Awesome. With that in mind, I want to thank my interviewee, Patty Arroyo. We had a lovely time. I learned a lot in the art world, especially with your influence and your motivational stuff. Thank you so much for being a
Uh,
wonderful interviewee. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining me in uh, this show. And
Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you very much, Rajiv.
yeah,
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to, um, like, tell my story. So, yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
awesome. With that in mind, folks, cheers. I will see you in the next episode.